Now with the leaves starting to fall and the nights drawing in, it only means one thing: winter is on its way, and you need to keep those gardens nice and clean and tidy of fallen leaves. Now it can be a bit of a chore, but there is plenty of machines on the market that can help you out, including the brand new BRA 600 leaf blower. Now I've been looking to get my hands on one of these machines for several months now, and it only seems right that this time of the year is the time to get it out of the box and to try it and see what it's really like. Now it is battery powered, and blowers are power hungry, so they will zap power out of batteries, and something this size is comparable to a BR 700, the big massive two-stroke machine that STIHL produce. Well, it could be a bit different to what we've tried in the past. So we know the power's there because STIHL class this as an equivalent to their BR 700 big backpack, or second largest petrol backpack blower that they produce. But what is the advantages of going battery, and what are the disadvantages? Well, in this video we're going to find out, because it's important to know what you're getting from this sort of product. So let's get out of the box and see what we've got. Certainly more compact than I thought it was going to be. Obviously we've got all our tubes. Look how big that is. Get your arm right up through it. Your bellow. Got a couple of different varying tubes. Now I've got the brand new adjustable tube to show you in a bit as well, which we can fit on the end. So with all STIHL blowers, you have the adjustable length of tube for the different user, which is nice and straightforward. Looks like they've got a nice little cockpit design, which we'll check out later as well. Actually, relatively light as well. Obviously the batteries aren't in there. As you can see here, this aluminium pole, this is the first backpack leaf blower to have this on there. So the petrol ones don't have it on there. So it's a little bit more comfier to pick up as well. Obviously it'll protect your shell of your blower as well from any impact, especially if it's in the back of a van. Nice harness. Now I believe that is the same harness they use on the BR 800. And just looking at the top here, we can run it with two batteries. So twin battery setup on the top. They're captive, or they're integral inside the machine. So you're not going to get batteries knocked. Obviously it makes it a little bit more streamlined as well. But yeah, from the onset, looks like a nice bit of kit. Right, let's get the pipes on and then we'll get some batteries in and do some blowing. It's supplied with a couple of clamps, a couple of screws. Screws go in there to clamp your pipes on. Need a torque screwdriver. Don't go to site without putting it together, because you will need a torque screwdriver. Right, I'll be back. So with a couple of clamps and a couple of screws, we're all together. Now, accessories included within the box: two nozzles, one narrow, one wide. More airspeed, less volume. Less airspeed, more volume. But instead of using those two, STIHL have introduced a brand new adjustable nozzle system, which can be fitted on the BR 700, BR 800, BRA 300, BRA 500, BRA 600 and BGA 300. So depending on the material starting to blow, instead of swapping your ends out, you can just fit this on and adjust it to whatever material on whatever surface you're trying to clean. So we'll get rid of those two, fit it straight on and get blowing. I thought this was going to be instructions in here, but we've actually got another attachment. I'm presuming we can snap that on like, ooh, he says, like that, to give you that better angle, or you can just use that nozzle straight on there. But I think we'll fit it up with both of them, and they just simply push in, he says. Blower tubes are always ridiculously tight. You know, I can get my leg over here a second. It is tight, I tell you. Right, we're in. Right, get some batteries in now. So we've got two fully charged AP 500S batteries. Slip them in the back like so. Obviously there was a little tiny person wore this before me. I ain't fitting in that without adjusting it. Yeah, it's not a bad weight that actually. Yeah, harness is comfy. Feels well balanced. And got like a, nozzle on the end has got like a sprung loaded system, look. So there's one or t'other and you sort of notch it round. Should we blow? It feels a bit long at the moment actually. Let's make it a little bit narrower, shall we? Let's switch it on then. Right, so we just blip the throttle, I presume. Ooh, take off. Got 3 speeds. Low, medium, high, and boost. Look at that. That is nice. Very smooth. I tell you what, it is incredibly powerful, and the noise is, well, I say non-existent. There is noise, but it is quite a a subtle sound. It's not what I was expecting, which is really nice. As I mentioned, this model from STIHL is twin battery, so utilising their 36 volt AP batteries to create a 72 volt system. If we put the BRA 600 up against the BR 700 petrol model, the specs are as follows. BRA 600 has a blowing force of 35 newtons. Weight without batteries is 10.5 kilos, 14.5 kilos with two AP500S batteries. It produces 1500 meters cubed per hour air volume and 113 meters per second air velocity. So let's have a look at the BR 700, which has 35 newton meters of blowing force, weighs 10.9 kilos without fuel and 12.3 kilos fully fueled, has 1550 meters cubed per hour air volume and 88 meters per second air velocity, meaning in theory these two machines ought to perform much the same. So I feel a little bit like a Ghostbuster with this old BRA 600 on my back. Now, initial thoughts. Power, great power, loads of air volume. You get right underneath those wet leaves. Now, I did start off on full power. I wanted to go into that boost mode and get everything out of this machine, which it didn't disappoint, other than when I looked down on the control, I was like, wow. After about 2 minutes of running, it dropped one battery charge out of the 4 indicators we had there. So I thought, right, let's conserve a little bit of battery now and run it mostly on low mode, which I did on the dry leaves. But as soon as I went up into the wet stuff, obviously I just give it that little bit of extra boost. And it's still got half the charge left in it. Now, with two AP500S batteries, on high power mode, you should be able to get about 18 minutes run time. It is power hungry. But if you've got a couple of batteries or a set of batteries that you can charge up, then I can see you doing a fair amount of work throughout the day with this machine. But in low power mode, you can get 45 minutes runtime. And if you're clearing lawns of dry leaves, then obviously that is pretty acceptable, I would have said. But for many of you out there, you may feel that battery runtime isn't what you want. But having said that, there'll be a lot of you out there that have got contracts where you're in noise sensitive areas, so you need a powerful machine where something like this is going to step in. On about commercial areas, I think we ought to go and find somewhere where we've sort of got hard surfaces, we've got tarmac and stuff like that, and get right under some stuff that's been there for several years and see if we can get it sort of uplifted. See a little bit more about this machine, eh? So I thought I'd just check the battery runtime before I leave, just in case I do need to charge the batteries up, and it's showing that I got 3 bars out of 4, so not quite so bad as I thought it was going to be. Right, some more commercial areas, hard standings, areas where we've got debris that's been laid down for quite a while and is really stuck on. We are now going to adjust our nozzle into the narrow position to focus more force or more airspeed to get underneath it and see what it can do. Well, I wasn't expecting it to get up as much as it did. Obviously, it's left the stuff that's still rooted in the ground. That isn't going to come up without another tool. But to get right underneath and get all that crap and all that crud up onto the grass area, pretty good. And having the flexibility of that nozzle on the end, being able to change it from your different sort of blowing material in this, you know, literally within seconds, is really, really good. So let's go through some of the handy features that are included with this new model from STIHL. First up, you've got a charge level indicator on the trigger assembly, so you can always see how much battery you've got left. Like a lot of the STIHL battery tools, it also delivers constant power until the battery runs out. And there's a cruise control setting, so you don't have to keep your finger on the trigger all the time. The harness is super comfortable, it's got S-shaped shoulder straps and a padded hip belt, the same kind you'll find on the BR800. So the weight is spread out. There's even a little holder for the blower tube, which makes it way easier to carry around when you're not using it. Adjusting the tube length is quick quick and tool free, which is a nice touch, and STIHL's added a noise reduction system, so it's not that harsh whiny sound you sometimes get with blowers. It's a lot smoother on the ears. On the trigger you've got 4 power levels to play with: low, mid, high and boost mode when you really need that extra blowing force. The handle's easier to adjust without tools, so you can set it to exactly how you like it. It's also IPX4 rated, so weather isn't going to be an issue, and the battery placement is spot on. It sits close to the centre of gravity, which makes it feel nicely balanced, and the rounded housing keeps it well protected. And if you have a range of STIHL tools, it also comes with fleet management via the smart connector. So we've seen it on lawns, we've seen it in a commercial area, and it's ticked all the boxes. But one last test for this machine: see how much air force it really has got. So we've got a bit of timber and we've got a nice block, and we're going to see if we can push them across our concrete. So let's flip this one down and flip that one down and see what it can do. I had to give it a little push. Right, brick. So that is the BRA 600, and I think there's 4 points to take away from this video: price, power, convenience and runtime, which is the hot topics when it comes to cordless garden tools. So let's start off with the price. Now, it is more expensive than going out and buying a standard petrol backpack blower from STIHL. There's no getting away from that. It is pricey if you have the 2 batteries on and the charger, and it's not going to be your first buy if you're buying into battery tools. You would probably want to be looking at already running the AP system from STIHL and then adding this into your fleet. That is going to be the most cost-effective way to run this machine. Which moves me on to power. We know that it is comparable to the BR 700, but it has got better air velocity, so more air speed than that of the petrol model. And today, the only time really that I would have needed to use boost was in that real thick mud up in the car park area, whereas the leaves on the lawn on low speed did everything and shifted piles of the stuff like nobody's business. Then we have convenience. So just that pick up and go element of any cordless tool. It means you can just have your charged batteries. As long as you've got a decent charging system, you can obviously keep going pretty much all day long. Just slip your batteries out and put them in. And that's where I then lead on back to basically buying into that battery system. If you've already got a fleet of battery tools and you've already got a range of different batteries, well, actually, it does make it quite convenient to have a machine very much like this. Now that leads me on to the last point, and probably the sticking point for most of you. On paper, the battery runtime in boost mode isn't that impressive for 2 AP500S batteries, but having said that, for most of the work we've done today, we run it in low mode, so you're getting 3/4 of an hour working time, and there's a fair area that you can clear with that. Because of that blowing force and that air velocity coupled up with that obviously lower runtime, you can actually clear big areas very quickly. So it's actually the working time you can do within that, which I think is the big point with this. And obviously being low noise as well, many of you guys may have contracts where you've actually got to meet that sort of noise sensitive rating. So that is the BRA 600. I know it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but it is impressive to say the least. And to be honest with you, petrol wise, it might be a distant memory. So for a lot of you guys, you may have to adopt it very soon. But what I want to know in the comments is, what is the sticking point for cordless and battery outdoor power products for you? Is it the runtime? Do you think it's the power, or do you think it's the price? Anyway, we're Machinery Nation. We bring you product videos every week all about tools and machinery. We hope you like this one. We've dropped another video to my left hand side all about other STIHL equipment. So hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Cheerio.